It's about damn time. To say that it's about damn time, I might as well get on to one of my favorite games in the franchise, Dynasty Warriors 7, or should I say, 7 Xtreme Legends Definitive Edition, because that's the actual up-to-date version of this game. But most of this came from my Xbox 360, and some of it did came from my Steam account. So yeah, needless to say, this game holds a lot of memories in my heart. My sister got it for me for my 31st birthday. It was basically the best thing I have ever played, considering Dynasty Warriors 6 Special was a kick in the dick. A repeated kick in the dick. God forbid when I ever review that game, let alone Dynasty Warriors 6 in general. But nonetheless, folks, aside from the visuals, aside from the music, aside from the voice acting, because this is Omega Force's best work, Dynasty Warriors 7 definitely came out of the box swinging. And it definitely stood out in my opinion. Now, how did it stand out? Well, we still have a review to do. More importantly, we still have the fact that this is on the Steam. So, on that note, I will be doing the best I can with what footage I got from Steam and what footage I also got from my Xbox 360. I didn't get the PlayStation 3 version, which I should have gotten, but I don't have a PlayStation 3. But nonetheless, Dynasty Warriors 7 Xtreme Legends Definitive Edition makes the one big repair that 6 screwed up. And that is bring back characters that was long since removed in 6 and brought just about all of them back for Dynasty Warriors 7. Well, save for one, he won't come back until Dynasty Warriors 8. That ain't the point. The point of the matter is, with Definitive Edition comes its problems, because after all, Definitive Edition syndrome, it exists. But nonetheless, folks, it's time for my review of Dynasty Warriors 7 Xtreme Legends Definitive Edition. Let's go! Koei, we need to have a talk, because there ain't no goddamn way in this universe that you made one of the best games in the series become a glitchy, frame rate crashing, slow down, bug-filled mess. Never mind that there was already bugs and glitches in the Xbox 360, both PS3 versions, the PSP, and the PC. Well, before Steam, but the Steam happens to be the worst of them all. You want to know what the worst part about this is? The Steam was released in 2018. A year before Dynasty Warriors 9. So that should tell you exactly how bad Dynasty Warriors 9 actually had it. Because this game was supposed to be made to pump up everybody to get Dynasty Warriors 9 excitement or hype or whatever. But it too crashed on day one of the Steam release. And the worst part is, there's no Switch version whatsoever. You're stuck with this. Period. End of story. And their remedy? Why, add an option to skip frame rates. And you can turn them off so you can watch cutscenes. Which, by the way, skip. Regardless of the function. And also, the display, no matter what size it is, it's still going to mess up because it's been poorly optimized. Because Koei doesn't optimize their shit. Not at all whatsoever. And oh look, Here's the specs. You see these specs right here? This is the specs of a Windows Vista PC that requires an OS of 8.1 and 10. Here's the problem. My Octoplex has a 10 that has a more superior core, and yet it still crashes. And more superior graphics card. And even worse for the 8.1 users, guess what? Next year on the 10th, you're not going to be able, or should I say next couple of weeks, you're not going to be able to play this game at all. They're going to stop supporting this game, so whatever patches they're going to put through, they'll put through, and after January 10th, this is pretty much an unplayable brick. Way to go, Koei! You done fucked up. Again! And of course, difficulty doesn't mean crap. At least the Xbox 360 version had achievements. Xtreme Legends and Xtreme Legends Definitive Edition, no achievements whatsoever. You want to know what the worst part about all this is? You're still going to get your skill points. You're still going to get your stats maxed out by getting enough swords, shields, and dim sum. Oh yeah, that makes a triumphant return from Dynasty Warriors 4. And also, you're going to already, in the Definitive Edition, have a powerful joke weapon that was DLC that you can start off by default with and not have to worry about the treasure weapons because they're more powerful, if not just as powerful, as treasure weapons. So there's really no reason for you to play this game on the highest difficulty other than Big Dick points. Oh wait, they don't exist! Because there's no achievements. You're just playing it simply to be playing it. I mean, yes, Dynasty Warriors 7 is a game that to be enjoyed, but why even go to the highest difficulty when you could just simply get all of the weapons that you need by just simply playing the game? And more importantly, the seals are already going to be released for some of these joke weapons, not to mention some of the treasure weapons. So there's no point, on top of the fact that the story is linear. So yeah, a certain amount of people are going to get skill points and also higher power-ups than everyone else, where they're going to have to go through conquest mode. So seriously, difficulty does not matter in this game at all. And this is the part where I scale all the DLC that's available for the game. It's literally weapons, extra stages, and also soundtracks from the previous games, which is in the Definitive Edition already, provided the Definitive Edition actually works. You still suck though, Koei, just saying. Oh yeah, another thing I should mention, this is the first game that had always online gameplay as well as always online co-op. But God forbid if the modem trip, just like what happened in my playthrough of this game, well, guess what? You're going to be back to seeing this start screen over and over and over again. And it's going to be bothersome. Fuck you, Koei. Also, there is the point about the way you actually get all of your upgrades. Particularly the swords, the shields, and also the meat buns as well as the skill points. You have to defeat officers in a succession in order to get a cumulative amount of skill points. You also have to make sure that when you knock down the officer, before they fall down and fade away, you land as much hits as humanly possible. Extreme Legends and Extreme Legends Definitive Edition went and cut that down to half, so you can do a maximum of 30 hits. Try to raise the difficulty not mattering thing to difficulty actually mattering. But at the end of the day, what else can I say? That's just terrible. So with that said, let's go on to the pros. Hooray, we got new characters! Even though I hate Bao Sanyang, but hooray, we got new characters! And returning ones that should have never been taken out of the game in the first place, Dynasty Warriors 6! But we got a whole roster of new characters along with returning, and also, that's not the best part. The best part is every single one of them happens to be performed by a member of Omega Force, giving them the best performance that they have ever done throughout the entirety of the Dynasty Warriors series. Of all the Narm, the Hoki, the Ham, this cast of characters with the cast of voice actors, they gave it their all. And oh look, they also added a new kingdom as well, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, starting this game, Jin finishes the fight. And this will be a staple from this game forward. And not to mention, you probably are listening to one of the best, if not the best soundtracks in the game. And let's face it, Dynasty Warriors 7 has a musical set piece for every last one of them. And on top of the fact that this is Conquest mode that you're seeing here. Conquest mode is basically going to be where everybody else who's not in the story will be grinding. I mean, the story, yes, is linear, but at the exact same time, you can actually power up people in this area who happen to be in the story or happen to not be in the story. And more importantly, buy up all their weapons and send some of their weapons to the blacksmith so that you will be able to get some more seals. You could go buy some more stuff from the merchant, like horses and allies, and also animals in general. And not to mention, you could talk to the scholar, where the scholar will ask you questions. There's stuff to do. I mean, yeah, you're going to be repeatedly coming here, but at the exact same time, it's not like you're going to try to repeatedly gain a whole bunch of allies just to build one Tong Shui Tai. Dynasty Warriors 8 Ambition Mode, I'm looking at you. But at the end of the day, the whole entirety of this game has it to where while you are grinding, and the grinding can suck, it's nowhere near as bad as Dynasty Warriors 8 or Dynasty Warriors 6 for that matter. And the reason why I say that is because at least with Dynasty Warriors 7, you're just padding on stats, literally. Dynasty Warriors 6, not so much. So basically speaking, you could also meet up with your friends and allies, and if you have the seal congeniality, you'll be easily maxing out their friendship. So yeah, this may be the precursor to Ambition Mode, but at the exact same time, Ambition Mode is pretty much nothing compared to Conquest, because at least Conquest, all you gotta do is just beat a stage and regain the level over and over and over again, as well as the upgrades. And by the way, new to Dynasty Warriors 7 Xtreme Legends Definitive Edition is Legends Mode, which is basically Other. But you're also building this Tong Shui Tai from a desolate area all the way to an actual village. So you're practically going through every single other versions of Dynasty Warriors 7 Story Mode, meaning you'll still end up getting some actual drops provided you play it on a higher difficulty, even though difficulty doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, all you're practically doing is just beating and repeating stories on the other side of the spectrum. Like, for instance, you're going to be fighting for the Yellow Turbans, or Lu Bu, or even fighting for Cao Cao as, well, Jiang Wei. And this, ironically, is where you're going to get your treasure weapons from, provided you meet the prerequisites. Well, at least some of the battles where you get your treasure weapons from. But then again, who cares about treasure weapons when you got joke weapons and... What? Wait, hold on a minute. Is my eyes deceiving me? Or underneath that... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 7th option... There's a Dynasty Warriors 6 outfit for Jiang Wei. Who was it in Dynasty Warriors 6? Hold on! What the fuck is this, Koei? Why is this happening? Focus. Focus, Army Man. We're here to talk about the positives, not the negatives. Save it for 6. Now let's talk about the combat. I know that there is a point of contention about the combat because of the fact that it's not a combat system that has counters. Even though they do have counters, all you just have to do is switch weapons. But here's the thing. They took out the Rinbu system because the never-ending hits just pretty much broke the difficulty. Even though something else broke the difficulty, but I've already established that in the cons. In this game, when you unlock the skills, you will have access to certain button combinations to get yourselves an EX skill or 2. Your EX skills is going to definitely turn the tides of battle, and more importantly, your EX skills can sometimes break the herd or heal you. Yes, it does have the square, triangle, format, or XXYY, but at the end of the day, at least you're not repeatedly pressing it over and over and over again to keep the chain going. Well, that is, unless the officer has been KO'd. Now, you're able to wield other officers' weapons. Yeah, you're not going to be able to use their moveset, but at least you'll be able to wield a more powerful weapon if you happen to have a weak weapon like Bao Sanyang's Spinner Blade Yo-Yo or Leon Sher's crossbow. Yeah, that's a thing in this game. She doesn't get a better weapon until Dynasty Warriors and Xtreme Legends. But at the end of the day, you can make up for a Dynasty Warriors weakness by giving them something that'll compensate. And that's how this actual fighting style works. It will mitigate clone weapons, even though there are going to be some weapons that do look alike. But at the exact same time, it will make up for strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, you gotta be careful of the amount of stars that you have for some of these weapons, because their stars will show how effective that your weapons will be if you happen to weapon switch. Like they have certain abilities or certain power-ups and boosts whenever you switch a weapon. And also, you can actually clash movesets with enemies. Only except instead of them sometimes locking you in a clash, you can use your moveset to negate the enemy's moveset and probably survive horrible things like Lu Bu's Supernova. But at the end of the day, this combat is actually a breath of fresh air compared to the shit that you have to go through with the Renbu fighting system in Dynasty Warriors 6. Because after all, that Renbu fighting system will only be infinite if you happen to go to the Crystarium that happen to be in that game. Not the case here. You don't need to set up infinites, you just need to set up enough of a chain to keep things going. And the more hits you take and the more hits you Delver and the enemies you kill, the faster your seals will grow. And these seals will become your bread and butter in actually winning these battles. Because they'll up your health, give you another bar of moveset, allow you to be able to use a weapon you normally wouldn't be able to use. More importantly, kill officers really quick, which is Officer Assassin. So yeah, through combat, you are going to pretty much dominate if you happen to get the hang of this game. Yeah, there's going to be some shielded enemies, but at the exact same time, switching weapons and mixing it up and keeping them on their toes is going to keep you alive throughout the entirety of this game. Yes, even on the hardest difficulty. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, there's really not much to talk about. Because I've said everything good that I need to say about this game. And at the end of the day, oh right, you get the right power cannons, and also you get to use ballistas, and not to mention you get to use Juggernauts. So, let's go on with the ratings, shall we? And with the pros and cons compiled, it is time to give the rating for this game. Dynasty Warriors 7 Xtreme Legends Definitive Edition gets a great. Because I can't, in any good faith, give it any higher than that, due to the Steam version, the always online, which I didn't put on the cons, the grinding, the difficulty not mattering, and the DLC. But other than that, everything else is pretty much solid. I mean, it has some of the best tracks in the game, it has the best voice acting in the game, pretty much a lot of things to do outside of the story mode, and on top of the fact of the combat system. Pretty much, I would recommend getting this game, if not for the PS3, probably the PSP. The Steam version has its problems. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm done with this review, and I'll see you all next time.